Hello everybody, this is Lockpick the Wizard Boy, and I am here with a mechanical part of a build that I am playing on New Vegas that I'm very proud of. Before we get into that, I have a Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Check all those out if you like them. Like, share, subscribe. Get this stuff out there. I'm working pretty hard on this stuff, learning a lot of things, and I enjoy it, but I just want it to get out there and see if more people enjoy it. So do that for me, please, and that'd be wonderful. All right, moving on to this. So I put out a backstory, a written voiceover backstory for my character Sebastian Thompson, and that's his story. That's his backstory. That's what I use for this playthrough. But I also made the build itself, right? And so this is the build itself. I spent a nice bit of time on this because me and my wife were playing a game that gave me a lot of, it was like a turn-based game, and it gives me a lot of time in between, like her turn and my turn and stuff like that, to work on stuff like this. And so I'm very proud of this build. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really, really strong. And yeah, let's get into it. So to start, your basic skills, your specials, are 7, 6, or Strength 7, Perception 6, Endurance 7, Charisma 1. I know what you're thinking. Wait. Intelligence 4. Again, know what you're thinking. Wait. Agility 6. And luck 9. And I know what you're thinking with the charisma and intelligence. You're thinking, Josh, you're able to break the Fallout games when you have high charisma, intelligence, and high speech, which you see I don't have. I always play those characters in the Fallout games, and yes, they are so much fun because you can break the game. You can just tell certain people, hey, give me your life, and they're like, all right. And it's really fun, especially in New Vegas, because you can talk your way out of stuff or into stuff. Ooh, in Vegas. But I'm used to playing those builds so much that it actually watered down Fallout for me a little bit. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go somebody that does not have charisma at all. None. No, not good at speech. Not overly intelligent, medium intelligence, right? And I want to have a character that's just, I'm dealing with my problems head on in a either combative or aggressive manner. And so that's what this build is going to be about. If that's what kind of build you want, that's what this is. So you see I have GET IMPLANT after each one. Your endurance starts at a 7, right? So that means you can get 7 implants, and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're gonna have your strength go up by 1. You're gonna have your endurance go up by 1 because, as you're gonna see, we're on our melee. We're gonna need some health. Your intelligence go up by 1, and it's the first one I say to get because it gets you more points, skill points. Your agility go up by 1 by level 24 because there's a perk that we really want to get. And then we're topping the luck off at 10. We're going from implant 10, boom. And then the Monocyte breeder and Sub-Dermal armor. The Monocyte breeder, every time you're in the sun, you regenerate a little bit of health over time. And then the Sub-Dermal armor gives you higher damage threshold, which is good. And then your traits are skilled and wild wasteland because it's fun. That's another thing about this build. I made it to be fun. I made it to be practical. I have a lot of perks in here that are I have a couple perks in here that are kind of quality of life perks. And I know if other build channels, I respect this. Other build channels say forget about quality of life stuff because that's not how you maximize your character. It's true. But I also want it to be a build that's fun. So to Not that their builds aren't fun, but I'm looking at a build that is good, fun, easy to play, so that I want to play a 100, 200 hour playthrough of Fallout New Vegas. So your major skill is going to be unarmed melee guns, because you're more of a fighting type of character. I don't know how I did that, but okay. Minor skills are survival at 65, and to use a magazine. I think there's a quest I had in mind when I made this. I think there's a quest I had in mind when I made this, that you need a 75 survival. So you don't necessarily have to get your survival that high. Your lockpick is first at 50. Again, another thing I know what you're thinking. 50? Only 50? I find being able to get very easy, and normal locks are the most you're going to run into and the most that you're going to get. Hard locks, usually you have a key for them. Yeah, there's some that you want to, break into. Usually I can find a key. Now, I could also see somebody, and I there's wiggle room in this perk, this build too. So if you have more room that you want to put into lockpick, go right ahead. But I don't know. And then very hard locks, there's almost always a key, or you're not supposed to go in there. And I know any kind of thief is thinking like, well, I want to go in there. You can get up to 100 if you have extra points, but there's usually a key. So that's why I have it at 50, and I say to get that there first. That's the first thing I usually say when I start a build, is I want to get my lockpick, boom, right up there as fast as I possibly can to where I think is a comfortable spot, usually 50 or 75, and I want to get there as fast as possible so that I don't have to backtrack on things. Like, I don't have to find a hard lock and be like, oh, I gotta come back to that. Nope, I just do it now. And then repair, that's another one. It's a toss-up. You do what you want with it. You could pick another minor skill easily. But again, this is kind of like quality of life. When I was thinking of this, quality of life. So we're gonna go for, before I go into perks, I've heard luck is really fun. Having a high luck, both for all the criticals you get that you'll see in some of the perks. Ooh. And for on the strip for gambling. Yes, it's fun. I think in Fallout New Vegas you should either like have your charisma high or speech. You don't necessarily need charisma high, you can just max out your speech. But something high like that or luck, because both are super fun playthroughs. But alright, getting into the perks. We have Hunter. Right? Level 2. This has 75% critical damage against animals. There's not a lot of perks at 2. So if you think there's another one, or if you want more of a character that's good at talking, then you can get like the Black Widow or Confirmed Bachelor. But Hunter is the first one I said to get, because again, not really worrying about that fighting. I'm worrying about that fighting, now we're really worrying about talking. Next we have Educated. This is always a good perk to get. Gives you 2 skills each time you gain a new experience level. That's perfect. It's wonderful. That's level what? 4? Yeah, level 4. Toughness, 6. With this being a mostly melee build, you can also play with guns, but mostly a melee build, you want that extra toughness. You want that extra damage threshold to take damage. So that's +3 damage threshold. Even if you're buck naked, you got +3 damage threshold. You want to be a naked psychopath. +3 threshold. I can talk. First perk that is game breaking. We are doing Super Slam. If anybody has played with this, let me know in the comments. It is a freaking blast. So this allows you to all unarmed melee weapon attacks have a chance to knock down your opponent. Right? Doesn't work with automatic melee weapons. That's okay. It's already overpowered enough. The chance of knocking down an opponent is 15 while using unarmed weapons or one-handed weapons, or 30% using two-handed weapons. 15% because one-handed and unarmed weapons swing faster, and then double the amount for two-handed, double the chance for two-handed weapons. If you have a very quick weapon, like Chance's knife, then 15% is going to happen like that. It's crazy. It is so much fun. Imagine knocking a Deathclaw on his ass. It's amazing. Running up with Chance's knife, he might get a hit or two on you. Hopefully you survive that, and then just swinging, knock him on his ass, and then run over and just finish him off. That's a Deathclaw. So much fun. Game breaking. Totally recommend it. Next perk we got at 10, level 10, we got finesse. Finesse. With finesse perk, you have the higher chance to score a critical hit on an opponent in combat equivalent to 5 extra points of luck. You're already going to be at 9 or 10 when you get this, and then you get 5 more points. You are going to get criticals left, right, and center. It's crazy. Like, once I get this, I feel like every hit, I almost always see the little thing pop up saying, critical hit. You got a critical hit. Critical hit. And I'm like, I only attacked 3 times and I got 3 critical hits. Awesome. You'll be getting them left, right, and center. So much fun. That also helps with whatever weapons you're using. Because let's say you're using, this build can use unarmed, it can use melee, it can use guns. And all of those, it just adds to the critical chance of all of those. So whatever one you're using at that point, you have to worry about using a certain weapon. All of those at that point. You got it going on. I got distracted by this down here. Another game-breaking, I think game-breaking perk at level 12 too, like not even halfway through your leveling, is Piercing Strike. Piercing Strike makes all of your unarmed and melee weapons, including throw, negate 15 points of damage threshold on the target. 15 damage threshold. I'm pretty sure I said this before, and I don't know what the actual skill is. I'm just interested because I'm pretty sure power armor, I don't care which one, just pick one. Pretty sure power armor's 25. I thought it was 30. 22. Oh my gosh. I thought it was 30 and I'm over here. 28. Okay, that's a little bit closer. 25. What I'm getting at, I thought power armor was, almost all power armor was at 30. That's 20. That's not even... That's 24. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I thought power armor was at 30, and I was going to make it a big deal that you're cutting power armor in half. But as you just saw, so none of them are even 30 yet. So that means anything with a tough hide or even power armored people like the Brotherhood of Steel or power armored soldiers of the NCR or the high damage threshold that even the Legion armor can have, you're cutting that either completely away at 15 or in half or more than in half. It's crazy. So this makes, just this perk alone makes melee worth it. If Super Slam didn't already make it worth it, Piercing Strike, turning their armor into paper, so it's so overpowered. You're knocking them on their ass, and their armor means nothing to you. Okay? So you're like, Josh, what are the negatives to melee builds then? Right? Because they're so tough. Well, one of the negatives is getting up close to the stuff while it's shooting at you. That's a big negative. I have a sprint mod because I want to move around the place faster, but it also helps with melee. So there's that. You could kind of sort of cheat. But it's getting up to people. Another difficult thing with melee builds is actually melee characters, which is why we got unstoppable force. So melee characters can block, thus making your weapon just bounce off of them to do little to no damage. This allows your unarmed damage. Perk multiplies your melee and unarmed damage by 4 when you strike a blocking opponent. Meaning, even though they block, you're going to have damage go through. So somebody could be low on health, and then it's like, I'm going to block him. Block, you hit, still kills him. So that gets rid of one of your biggest like annoyances as a melee character. Next we have Life Giver. What level is this? 16. I would say you could switch this out for a point of endurance if you want, which will make your health go up by 10. And then you also get the perks of having higher endurance if you want. I pick Life Giver because it's almost a way of it being more efficient to me. That I can have one perk that makes my hit points go up by 30 points. That gives me more health to run up and start smacking people around. So that's a pretty simple one. I think it's helpful. I usually take it with every build, but that's me. Better criticals. So we were talking about this. Wrong button. We were talking about how you're going to get criticals all the time with both your luck at 9 as well as finesse. Now you get better criticals. So your criticals do more damage. With this perk, a weapon's critical damage increased by 50%. So you're going to be getting them left, right, and center. And when you get them, you do 50% more damage of that weapon. So like, criticals. All the time. Death. You will be death. That's with all weapons, too. You will be death. So you see some of the stuff stacking up. The better criticals, the unstoppable force, piercing strike, finesse, and super slam all stacking up to that if you use a melee weapon, things will die. If they had a scythe in this game, you could be death. Adamantium skeleton. I know might get flack for adamantium skeleton. Some people think that like the crippling in this game never happens or rarely happens. And if it does, you just use a doctor bag or stim packs. This is another one. If you want to switch it out for something else more helpful to you, go right ahead. I think about quality of life. I think about I don't want to be crippled at all. So even though I could heal it pretty easy, I don't want to be crippled. So I get it. This is another one that there's an easy swap out for it if you would like. Weapon handling. So another thing about making this build fun is, if we go back to our stats, in New Vegas they have strength requirements and skill requirements. Of course, you're not going to be picking up a weapon that is like a 100-point skill requirement and it's like an energy weapon, and you're going to use it because you're not going to have 100 points. You can still use it for poops and giggles, but you won't have 100 points. When it comes to melee, unarmed weapons, and guns, you're going to get to 8 strength You're going to get to 8 strength with the implant, and then also get +2 weapon handling. That it's down here. Yeah. Requirements lowers the requirements by 2. So you're going to be able to use whatever melee, unarmed, and gun that you want, whatever one you want, with the strength requirements already met. Whatever one you want. And then the other requirements, you'll get them up through the game. But you can use whatever you want. And even if you decide to grab a like random weapon that you normally wouldn't use or just want to play with, you're going to make the strength requirement. So this is another one that I said you could put it in a strength if you want, just like 1 point into strength instead of 1 point into weapon handling. It's whatever. Another game-breaking perk that stacks on top of our other melee perks is Slayer. This is the perk that I want to have. Was it 7 agility? Yep, 7 agility and 90 unarmed 4 on my list. Right? Actually, I'm gonna write this down. Before 24. Boom. Because what Slayer does is it speeds up your swing speed, increases the speed of all melee and armed attacks by 30%. All of them, melee and unarmed, so that we're both going to be good at. You can swing like crazy. So that adds to the Super Slam, where now you're swinging even faster, giving you more percentage of a chance to knock people down. It's fun. It's just so much fun. You just knock everybody down. Honestly, it's a lot of fun. Just swing like crazy. Next up, okay, I skipped over 26. 26, there was nothing at level 26 that I seem to be interested in, so I have other perks down here that we'll go over after that you could plug in, or I wanted to give you wiggle room so you could use whatever you want in it. So we're going to go to 28. Skip 26. Go to 28. Grim Reaper Sprint. You can get it at 20, but I have other perks that I want to get before it. This will allow your VATS game to go up. If you kill a target in VATS, all of your action points are restored. That's 3. Sorry, New Vegas. 20 points are restored. That'll just let you be able to use VATS more. One of the most fun parts of combat in Fallout is VATS, and now you can do it more. It's easy as that. You're already going to have like a 7 in agility, so you have a nice bit of points. Play around with VATS. So now we're going to get into possible perks, right? So we have Stonewall as the first one that I'm personally going to put at 26. The reason why is because Stonewall, where's that? Where does it say? Courier gains 5 to their damage threshold against melee weapons and unarmed attacks. So this could easily be switched out with, is it toughness? No, because toughness is at 6. Okay. Meh. Probably possibly switch some more perks around. But this is just another one that I would put in that spot that I have health related. I'm going to be up in the muck fighting stuff with my weapons and getting hit as well by, again, your biggest annoyance with a melee weapon build is other melee and unarmed attacks. So get more defense towards them. It's each their own. Rigging, it's another quality of life perk. If you want it, do it. If you don't. Just allows you to keep your stuff pristine. You could also have Raoul with you. Next up, we got Action Boy and Action Girl. Everybody knows what these do. It just grants you more action points. You're already going to have, it's 15 per rank, right? You're already going to have a nice bit with 7 agility, and then Grim Reaper Sprint. If you really like VATS, just add it on top. If you really like VATS, you could do it earlier. And then Nerves of Steel. It's another one where I'm like, you can do whatever. Increases the regeneration of your action points. Yeah, it's another one. You like VATS? Do it. Alright, we're gonna move on to I'm not gonna talk about them too much because you're gonna have a decent gun skill. You're going to have really good unarmed and melee skills. And I don't want to tell you what to use. You can use whatever you want. These are just some things that I find really fun. So we're going to start with a light shining in the dark that you get from the Honest Hearts DLC. Really fun pistol. Sounds really cool. Reloads really cool. Looks really cool. Boom. Use it. Anti-material rifle. These are, let me just say this. These are overrated. They're overrated. Fun is 110 points of damage. So they're fun. But the DPS is only 49. Where we move on to the Long Carbine. Lower base attack, higher DPS. Still a sniper. Really accurate. So, I think it's overrated. If you want a weapon that you're like, I want to try to hit something once from far away and kill it, that's what you want. If you want something that's high DPS and good, like way better, then Lalong. There's another one I forgot to put on here. The Gobi Sniper, I think is what it's called. That's really good. So, yeah, Lalong. This one might make you have to kill New California Republic guy if you want it. You can steal it, it's just really annoying. Or you can murk him. Such a fun gun. Right here is such a fun gun. The All-American. This gun looks sexy. Look at this. Oh my gosh. It's from the Airborne Division of the Army. The military. It just looks beautiful. It's camo. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. What's really fun about this weapon is, well, you need a skill of 100 guns to max it out. That's okay. You can shoot this gun so freaking fast. Right? Your trigger finger, just ba 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 ba. 156 DPS. Ba 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 ba. I swear to you, you keep hitting that, you barely have any recoil. Barely. So much fun. You just barrage people from a distance. It's a blast. Sometimes I use the anti-material rifle to take out things from a distance. And if I shoot and miss or something like that, or I hit it and it's low health, I whip out the All-American then and just barrage it with shots and to finish it off. And it's 5.56 ammo, so you get a million of those. This is the Survivalist rifle. You get this from the Honest Hearts as well. Just another fun weapon. Fun story to get it too. 187 DPS. Its ammo type is 12.7, which is expensive and rare, but it's really fun. Really fun weapon. Really good looking too. Kind of like a decked out M16. Get into melee weapons. Machete, Gladys. Yeah, you get these off of, what do you call them? Legion. But they're good. It's good. Not anything to write home about. Blade of the West is, I haven't ever used this weapon, but I love its stats, and I love the bumper swords. I know their DPS is usually meh. This one's at a 127, so it's not terrible. I think this one catches people on fire too. Pretty sure. Knockdown on crit. Well, that happens. I'm pretty sure this is the one that has fire damage to it, or it's Blade of the East. One of the two. So I just like the bumper swords, even though they're usually meh. Regular bumper swords are just meh. I haven't used it before, but it looks like a lot of fun, and I'm excited to. We got the Gehenna. This is probably one of the most expensive ones on the list. Get it from the gun runners. Catch people on fire. It's a shish kebab, special shish kebab. So, catch people on fire with a sword, and you're good at melee. Perfect. I'm skipping this one right now. We got Love and Hate for an unarmed weapon. There's also the ballistic fist if you don't like the Legion and you kill Caesar. Got the ballistic fist. And then Pushy, which is just breaks the game, but which is a what's it called? The glove, the power glove. Power glove. That's not. Power fist. And so yeah, that breaks the game, but it's fun. And then there's Chance's knife. I couldn't find it on the list of stuff. I might have just missed it. But Chance's knife is really good because it swings crazy fast. Look up where to find that because it's in like an unmarked location. You need to like dig it up, but it's really good. This weapon, the War Club that you get from the Honest Hearts, if you get this War Club and then you get all the attachments to it, bro and sis, this weapon is crazy. You're looking at like 157. You get all the things added on to it, all the upgrades added onto it, as well as all the perks that we have. It's crazy. It's crazy. This thing is a lot of fun, and it swings really fast too, knocking people over more. So this is one of my favorite weapons that I have so far, especially like early and mid game. A lot of fun. So that is about all I have to say. That's the mechanical part of my Fallout build, matched with the story. Here's the backstory of the Sebastian Thompson that I use. There is a lot of wiggle room in this build. So tweak it however you want. You don't have to use, of course, the backstory I used. Use whatever backstory you want and just add the mechanical part to it. There's that. But yeah, that's super fun build. A lot of wiggle room, quality of life, fun, easy. What else do you need in a build? So that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Check out all my other socials, like the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. It's in the link in the description. All the links are in the description. And yeah, have fun out there. Kick the Wasteland's ass. Bye.